a chance to win the case? No, because of what I was saying to Chuck. Chuck was exactly right. There's not the burden of proof, but there's still that burden of liability. What's the liability? Like, for example, if I take my backpack and I put my backpack on, right? There's nothing wrong with my backpack, passes every standard. But I decide, geez, I want to hang myself. And I leave a note, everything, and I hang myself. Can my family then sue the backpack company? No. But let's say somehow the backpack gets caught on something and they determine that it's faulty. Then there's a civil case there. It was an accident, but it was still a civil case. This is a little different, but I'm trying to draw a comparison without having a mass shooting. What they're going to have to prove is some level of liability to the manufacturer. That's true. Most of these gun companies, people have a tendency to think gun companies are incredibly rich. Let me explain something to you guys. There's not a giant markup on guns. There's a giant markup on accessories. There's not a giant markup on guns. A lot of people get into the gun game mainly, as a tax write-off initially. There's very few that are actually very profitable. Very, very few. I don't give a fuck what anybody says to me. There's very few out there that are extremely profitable. Did you call me neighbor? Hello, neighbor. So there's very few that are very profitable. What's up, Benny? The margins are tight, and even by the time a gun gets sold to a store, they're very, very tight margins. Very tight margins, guys. So I try to explain that to folks. It's not what people think. But if a store, for example, is making 5 to 10% on a gun, that's a lot. We'll talk about it. You know this, Frenny. When you get in a rut, even in training, go back to the drawing board. Go back to basics. Go back to what got you there in the first place. So I was in a little bit of a rut Monday, Tuesday. I went back. I listened to a couple of ebooks, Reader's Digest versions. If I read the book, usually I'll go back and I'll read like an abridged version or a short version. So go back. And you do the same thing in training. If you get into a little bit of a rut, go back to your training. Go back to basics. Go shoot a pistol for fun. Go enjoy it. Go do some training. Frenny went out and did, a little jiu-jitsu tournament and a little grappling tournament, and I'm sure he had a ton of fun. But he went back to the drawing board a little bit. Go back to the beginning. Go back to what got you there. Don't focus on, trying to be a world beater every day, because I guarantee you it'll crush you. It'll crush your hopes and dreams. I was doing hour-long podcasts. I was doing these marathon podcasts in the beginning, and they were good. I mean, they were okay. And then I shortened them up a little bit because I felt a little more energetic, a little more lively. So one of the things that struck me was the premise of the 1,000 Screaming Fans. So I went back to the drawing board. I talked to Bruce, talked to a few friends of mine, and I kind of got reinvigorated to come back to you guys and figure out what it is you guys want. And I told you, it's not all about the free stuff and the giveaways and those things. And that's all good and that's all fun. And we have fun with that. But it's just about kind of seeing the world through a different lens. Okay, Frenny, what gets you going? Hey, Ruben, what gets you going? Whoever it is, whoever's in your circle. So 3 takeaways to the 1,000 Screaming Fans I'll give you guys to kind of chew on. And maybe this gets your week going next week. Maybe it gets your Monday, churning, or Tuesday, or whatever it is. But go back to basics, whatever that is. If you're training and you feel like, geez, my workouts haven't been the same, go back to basics. Go back to what got you there in the first place. Go in and do a different workout. Try something totally different. If it's Monday and it's chest day, do something totally different. Speed it up. Slow it down. Do something different. If it's training, on the range or in jiu-jitsu, or Frenny just said he just ran a marathon, try something totally different. If you're used to a treadmill, run outside. The weather's getting good. Shake it up. Be different. Don't be the same. Part of the reason why I wanted to make such an effort with the podcast and YouTube and everything else over the last couple months, and even before I started doing it myself, I was doing it for brands. I just wanted to do something different. I just felt like it was time to do something different. I think doing the same thing over and over and over again is the definition of insanity. And I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to care about the news. You care about sports, you care about that stuff, but that's all steeped in reality. This is where it's going. I don't know, man. I only have Hulu and Netflix and absolutely love it watching. Yeah, it's nostalgia. Gunjitsu, you're not wrong. It's nostalgia. But let me explain this to you. Gunjitsu. They paid $100 million to air Friends. Let me ask you a serious question. Would you rather them pay $100 million to air Friends on Netflix? Or would you rather they have the ability to see live streams of people and of people doing their own shows? I agree. The era of sitcoms is over. It's over. It's over. Over. And companies and businesses and people that are not getting heavily invested in this space, they are missing the boat. And everybody is getting so pot committed to things like Instagram and photo-based stuff. And Instagram's going to go the way of Pinterest or MySpace, because they can't keep up with the video content and people want video. Amazon Prime will survive because it's essentially cable, Cassie. Mark, you hit the nail on the head. It's not PC. Nobody wants to take the risk. It's not PC. I sit and I have these conversations, and I feel like I do. I feel like just like he said. I feel like Christian Bale in The Big Short. I'm walking around. I'm like, guys, it's over. It's over. I'm telling you. Instagram only works if you want to swipe down. Why is it you have, companies have big followings, but they can't get 500 likes on a picture? And it's because nobody wants to swipe down anymore. Nobody wants to, there's nothing sticky. Instagram doesn't have a true traditional search bar. You can only search a hashtag. Yeah, that's nostalgia. That's nostalgia. Have you ever had the chance to watch? Yeah, I have. People are now gravitating to podcasts that